What if the very technology meant to replace thousands of jobs is actually forcing companies to rehire them? A surprising truth about AI and the future of software development is emerging. Just a few years ago, experts predicted that by 2030, artificial intelligence would replace 90% of developers. But today, the reality is starkly different. Gartner recently reported that by 2027, 50% of companies that laid off workers due to AI will rehire for those exact same roles. In 2026, software engineer hiring is skyrocketing. While AI certainly has the potential to cause disruption, it appears far more likely to reshape jobs rather than eliminate them entirely. This isn't necessarily because companies are avoiding AI. Instead, it's because AI makes so many mistakes when writing code that expert developers find themselves correcting it 9 out of 10 times. Tech giants like Microsoft and Google are indeed pushing for increased productivity by outsourcing more coding to AI. However, new research suggests these tools might not be as helpful as initially expected. This not only impacts developer productivity but also company finances, as the surge in AI-generated junk code significantly raises the overall workload. In fact, seasoned engineers were found to be 19% slower when using AI tools, rather than faster. The AI frequently offered suggestions that appeared useful but ultimately demanded time-consuming corrections. All of this has prompted companies to reconsider their initial decision to delegate code creation entirely to AI. Far from reducing costs, as previously believed, AI is now often increasing them. So, why exactly are companies quietly rehiring software engineers? Over the past few years, the tech industry relentlessly promoted a narrative that seemed inevitable. Companies like Google, Amazon, Meta, and many others tirelessly repeated one phrase: artificial intelligence is going to replace workers, especially developers. Starting in early 2024, companies began to downsize teams, freeze hiring, and place their bets on automatic code generation tools, which promised to build complete software in mere seconds. It's estimated that since 2024, approximately 124,000 software developers have been laid off. Amazon, Chegg, Microsoft, Meta, Salesforce, the list of tech companies cutting tens of thousands of jobs goes on. The underlying idea seemed straightforward: fewer developers, more automation, and higher profit margins for companies. Yet, what began as an apparently unstoppable revolution quickly started to reveal its limitations. Incidents, such as Amazon experiencing 4 critical errors in just 90 days due to AI-assisted code changes, made it clear that AI was not as foolproof as many had believed. Reality began to demonstrate that writing code is not the same as developing robust software, and that artificial intelligence, while powerful, still heavily relies on human supervision. Gradually, companies started to notice that reducing teams wasn't yielding the expected results. Instead, it was creating new problems that were often more complex and costly to solve. A recent study suggests that the return on AI coding may be more uneven and less immediate than investors have priced in. While AI proved remarkably efficient at generating code quickly, it also began producing vast volumes of code that demanded constant correction. Studies have recently shown that AI-generated code contains up to 1.7 times more errors than code written by humans. This has compelled companies to dedicate more time to reviewing and fixing these issues. Furthermore, this massive code generation has led companies to manage up to 38% more code overall, significantly increasing system complexity. The fundamental challenge in software development has changed. It's no longer just about writing code, but about maintaining it, optimizing it, and fixing it. A significant indicator of this shift is that 61% of companies that adopted AI tools for programming increased their hiring of senior developers in 2026, primarily to review AI-generated code. As one expert put it, now, some of those mid-level Google engineers are shaking free. This is your dream. So, you just need to hold your hand up in this job environment if you're a former Google engineer and you're going to get offers. Another major problem is that artificial intelligence generates code without understanding its business context. According to Gartner, over 50% of errors in AI-generated code are linked to this lack of business context understanding, not just syntax or programming errors. AI can write functions, structures, and algorithms based on learned patterns, but it simply does not grasp business objectives, technical constraints, or strategic decisions. This often means the generated code works perfectly in isolation but fails when integrated into real-world systems. This issue was highlighted by an IBM study, which found that 4 out of 10 development teams reported compatibility problems when integrating AI-generated code into their existing infrastructures. Consequently, human developers must intervene to adapt the code, correct errors, and optimize performance, thereby increasing the demand for experienced developers. The tools are certainly being used, they are here. The payoff may just be more uneven than the hype suggests, and perhaps it plateaus at a certain point. But perhaps the biggest problem with AI is that, unlike a human developer, AI cannot correct itself. When a human developer makes a mistake, they can often realize it in time and fix it. However, when AI makes an error, it doesn't detect it unless specifically prompted. Researchers at Princeton University discovered that AI models failed to self-correct in over 60% of cases, even when instructed to review their own code. This crucial limitation has led companies like Google, Amazon, and Meta to begin reconsidering their initial strategy. As one commentator noted, companies are trying these tools. They're not always working, and so they're asking eventually, where's the value? Experienced developers are acutely aware of AI's limitations. Recent studies indicate that up to 96% of developers do not fully trust AI-generated code. This pervasive distrust has transformed code supervision into one of their primary tasks, diverting focus from more critical activities like innovation. As a direct consequence, the real productivity of the remaining developers has started to decline. A GitHub study found that 49% of teams reported a decrease in actual productivity, and ultimately, this translates into significantly higher costs for companies. Big tech is now pouring more capital than ever into AI. Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon are expected to spend a combined $600 billion in capital expenditure this year alone. All these limitations of AI-generated code have created a bottleneck within development teams. As a result, companies have begun rehiring employees who were previously laid off. It's estimated that up to 4 out of 10 new hires are software developers who are former employees of companies that had initially replaced them with AI. This phenomenon, known as Boomerang hiring, is rapidly growing in the tech sector because these professionals can integrate faster, understand internal systems, and detect complex errors that AI consistently fails to identify. As the popular song goes, I Want You Back. It's a catchy tune and an increasingly popular hiring trend, with 35% of new hires now being made up of past employees. While it's true that AI is replacing some software developer roles, these are predominantly junior positions. AI can effectively perform the work of a novice developer, but it falls short of an experienced one. Basic programming tasks traditionally assigned to beginner developers can now be handled by AI tools. This has led many companies to reduce junior hiring and simultaneously increase their demand for experienced developers. More than 54% of companies have indicated they plan to hire more senior developers while reducing junior positions, reflecting a significant structural shift in the tech industry. As one analyst summarized, now, this latest suggests that while it can help that group level up, it may actually be increasing reliance on senior talent because someone still needs to debug, refine, and ship the final product. The tech industry is finally beginning to recognize that artificial intelligence does not replace developers on its own. This realization is clearly reflected in recent hiring trends. For instance, approximately 20% of the software engineers hired by Google in 2025 were former employees who were rehired. This return is happening quietly, without major public announcements, yet it has a significant impact on the labor market. The developers being rehired are those with valuable experience, capable of supervising artificial intelligence and improving generated code. This definitively demonstrates that artificial intelligence is not at the level of an experienced developer. Sometimes, it is simply used as an excuse to boost stock valuations and facilitate worker layoffs.